guys, it's ASBYT and this is the iPhone 12 Pro Max. On paper, the very best smartphone that Apple currently sell. But after using it for a few days, I've begun to realise it's not quite that simple. There's no denying it's a brilliant phone, but it's also very intriguing. And to be honest, using it as my daily has made me change my mind on a few things, as you'll see. And thanks to Anchor for sponsoring today's video. So firstly, what are the key features that make the Pro Max objectively better than the standard 12 Pro, which I have already reviewed? Well, for a start, the size difference is the obvious one. The Max is a huge phone, but interestingly, not in keeping with the rest of the smartphone market. Yes, we've seen the growing trend of smartphone screens getting larger and larger over the last few years, but mainly that's been in displays getting taller, whilst maintaining a similar width. But in this case, with the Pro Max, we've got a 6.7-inch display, not unheard of, like I said, but it's just so wide, it's simply straight uncomfortable to hold in one hand. Yes, this is of course subjective, and if you've got massive hands, then you'll be fine. But I can only go off my experiences. Outside of the size, it's basically exactly the same display as the rest of the new iPhones this year, which on the whole are excellent. Really bright, lovely colours, great viewing angles, and in fact the only two big downsides for me personally from a display point of view are of course the notch. No point in going into any detail, it's a well documented flaw of iPhones over the last few years based on what we're seeing on the Android side. And on a similar vein of thought, the standard 60Hz refresh rate with no movement to a higher refresh rate for that ultra smooth user experience that is a little bit jarring after experiencing it, the likes of 90Hz, 120, 144, etc. Now there are two key points here at play, and this isn't me defending or attacking Apple, these are just straight facts. Most people, most consumers buying the brand new iPhones this year will already be iPhone users and have probably been using iPhones for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years. The average consumer usually, rightly or wrongly, doesn't like switching between iOS and Android and vice versa. It's a little bit confusing and unnecessary for most people. So iPhone users will generally stick to iPhones when they upgrade, and Android users will generally stick to Android when they upgrade. Not everyone, but most people. So chances are the majority of people buying a brand new iPhone 12 series this year will not have experienced high refresh rates on smartphones yet because they've been on iPhones. So they won't really care that it doesn't have it, unless they've used an iPad Pro over the last couple of years, which does have a 120Hz refresh rate display, which leads me on to my second point, which is I don't think Apple chose to not include it on the new iPhones because they didn't think it was necessary. I think they did it to reduce manufacturing costs of the new phones, give an upgradable feature for next year when they undoubtedly will probably throw it in, and because they were possibly slightly worried about battery performance. High refresh rate displays undoubtedly drain battery quicker, and the battery cell size in the iPhone 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max are smaller than last year's offerings. And on that fact, it's not a night and day difference between the 11 Pro Max and the 12 Pro Max, and you will still get through a day no problems whatsoever, but the battery life on the 11 Pro Max was incredible. So having a smaller 3687 cell down from the 3969 cell on the 11 Pro Max is a bit disappointing. In my opinion, on a new product, you should never really ever go backwards in any department. But that's just me. Very quickly, if you're enjoying this video so far, a sub would be awesome. Another difference from the standard Pro comes in certain areas of the camera. And while yes, objectively, it is a more advanced camera system in the Pro Max, subjectively, it's kind of not. And I'll explain what I mean. So on paper, we have a similar triple 12 megapixel lens array as on the 12 Pro, with the exact same ultra wide angle and Lidar sensor. But the two main differences are as follows. Number one, the primary wide angle has a physical sensor that is apparently 47% larger, and the telephoto lens has 2.5 times optical zoom to the 2 on the standard Pro. In theory, this should mean that the primary snapper should be able to allow in more light, resulting in less noise overall, better low light performance, and sharper shots when zooming. But in reality, while in the right settings you can see slight improvements, there really isn't anything that I can see here that makes me go, ah, yeah, that's why you should get the Pro Max over the Pro and spend that extra money. It's not really a defining just punched the table. It's not really a defining upgrade. in good lighting, photos basically look the same. But even in low light, where you would expect to see more of a difference, while the shutter speed can be quicker on the Pro Max and details can be ever so slightly sharper, again, I don't really see a great deal of difference at all. You do also get the additional 12 times digital zoom to the 10 on the Pro, but with there only being a 0.5 difference in actual optical zoom, there really isn't a huge visible difference, again, in the sharpness and details with those types of shots. So most of the tweaks, therefore, on the camera have been software related. The ultra-wide angle seems a little bit less distorted, and thanks to Apple's new Smart HDR3, photos look that little bit sharper and more detailed with less noise, although colour temperature, unfortunately, with the 12 Pro, they really haven't addressed this issue, which is still far too saturated on the red tones and makes me look like a tomato. There is also the inclusion of the much talked about Lidar sensor, which we saw on the iPad Pro, and this helps the phone to depict depth far better, improving the speed of focusing, especially in low light, and is hugely helpful and capable for all things AR or augmented reality. Now, the Pro Max does use a new sensor shift stabilization system that actually moves the sensor to reduce vibrations. It's similar to the sort of tech seen in some high-end mirrorless cameras and is only marginally, but is slightly better than the OIS or optical image stabilization seen in the 12 Pro. Will it be potentially better for reducing camera shake and improving low-light photography and video? Yes. Will the average consumer notice a real difference between the 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max in that department? No. And speaking of videos, apart from the color temperature, which, like the photos, is still pretty unnatural in my opinion with really high red tone levels, stabilization, audio and customization with the ability to use multiple lenses, etc. is excellent. Another smartphone video beast from Apple again. There has been a strange problem with video taken on the iPhone 12 series and posted onto certain social media channels in the form of HDR in the videos, where it's actually causing a problem once it's being processed on the social media app side, Instagram, Facebook, etc., where because those sites weren't actually yet capable of supporting HDR video, these video posts would often look a bit washed out and weird looking. So you would have to shoot the video without using the HDR mode if you wanted to post on those channels. Obviously, these social media apps update all the time, so that probably won't be a problem, but on launch for the new phones, it has been. Outside of that, and the obvious £100/dollars difference between the different storage ranges, 128, 256 and 512 gigabytes, it's basically the same phone as the 12 Pro. So the same ceramic shield glass, which has improved the phone's strength from drops, but not really from scratches, of which I have picked up a few, so screen protectors are still advised. It also has the same stainless steel frames, which are very durable compared to other phones on the market and look beautifully premium when clean and utterly disgusting 5 seconds after a wipe down. The speaker grille has one extra hole on each side, but the sound isn't noticeably different, nor is the performance, which is also excellent here using the same A-14 Bionic chip, which is, as expected, incredible. Apple chipsets have been for a long time industry leading, and I'll also be checking out the brand new M1 chips that are available in the new Mac lineup. Sub for those videos because they are coming soon as well. So back to the title and my opening statement. I said in my 12 and 12 Pro videos that the improvements in the standard 12 this year have been quite drastic for the amount of money you're paying, which is quite a lot less. I think that makes that phone probably, in my opinion, the best phone from Apple this year in terms of what you get for your money, and I think it will be the highest selling phone from them. But I also said that I think you should, if given the choice, save your money and get the standard 12 or pay an extra £100 and go with the Pro Max, because the iPhone 12 Pro is kind of in an awkward middle area, neither doing one nor the other. But I've changed my mind a little bit on that. Having used the Pro and the Pro Max for a short period now, I no longer have that opinion. I don't think the improvements you get on the Max in everyday use are really that noticeable at all for 95% of people. And I also think that the increase in screen size of the 12 and 12 Pro and the way they've designed the new iPhones means that the 6.1-inch models hit a good balance between being large enough to game and watch movies, etc., while still being remotely usable with one hand. I mean, with the width of the Pro Max, it's basically like you're almost holding an iPad mini. I'm exaggerating, of course, but you get the idea. If you have that extra 100 quid burning a hole in your back pocket, or you're a gamer, for example, and want that massive display, or you have massive hands or are happy using two hands all the time, then get the Pro Max. It is the best phone that Apple currently offer in terms of tech specs. But if these things don't apply to you, I would save your money, because the improvements for 95% of people, like I said, are marginal, if at all. No hate on the Pro Max at all. I love the phone. It's just not the phone that I would personally choose out of the new iPhone 12 series lineup. And also, I applaud Apple for looking at ways to help the environment, but I wish they had chosen to change the charging to Type-C so that I can charge my MacBook and my iPhone using the same charger. That way as well, I think the benefits would have outweighed the inconvenience for a fair amount of people. If you are buying one of the new iPhones and do need a charger on top, today's video sponsor Anker can help. They have released a 20-watt fast charger designed for the brand new iPhone 12 series called the PowerPort 3 Nano. It apparently charges your phone 3 times faster than a standard 5-watt iPhone charger whilst maintaining a similar portable size. It charges the new iPhones to their max speed using a Type-C port, so you can simply just plug in your Type-C to Lightning cable that comes in the new iPhone boxes and you're good to go. You can also use it to charge other Type-C devices as well, which is really handy. If you use the link in the video description below, you get 50% off exclusively at O2. Let me know in the comments which of the iPhone 12 series is your favourite, which one are you going to buy, or are you going to buy an Android phone, for example, and which one? Let me know in the comments. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like and share if you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Subscribe and hit that notification bell if you are new to the channel and love everything tech, breaking tech news, unboxings, reviews. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Do just what you want.